Hi everyone, so it's the end of September. Not sure how that's actually happened. The year has gone by so quickly. It's going to be Christmas soon before we know it, although I do love Christmas. I turn into a child at Christmas. So my last video were my style favourites, so if you haven't checked that out already I will link it around here somewhere. But today I'm talking beauty favourites, good old beauty favourites, and I have quite a few different things. I've got some hair bits which I don't normally talk about in favourites. I've been really into my hair products recently, and a couple of skincare bits that I've really been saving my skin, and then a very exciting makeup product too. So let's get into it. And the first thing I have, or the first two things I have, are the Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. And now these are the newest launches from Bumble, and they're sulfate free as well, which I really love. I think I definitely notice a difference when I'm using sulfate free sulfate-free shampoos in my hair and conditioner. It just feels like it's more nourished and it's not as stripped and brittle and dry. And these actually really surprised me because I didn't think I'd like anything with an oil in it, because to me that just sounds like it's going to weigh the hair down, be very heavy. But the Invisible really is the key. It really does add a lot of hydration and moisture to your hair, and it feels very soft and lovely, but it also gives a lot of volume to you, not in the way that a normal volumizing product may add a lot of bulk and a lot of excess product that just ends up feeling sticky and heavy. It just seems to make your hair so lightweight and like there's absolutely nothing in it at all, just bouncy and very fresh, and I've been really enjoying these. The conditioner in particular is so nice. It's quite a rich, thick conditioner, so I've just been using it on the ends mainly, but it's really hydrating again, just as the shampoo is, and they work together really nicely, so I'm loving these at the moment. I have also tried the primer, I think it's called the primer, from the same range. Still not completely sure on that, so I definitely need to try it out a lot more, but I'm trying to use a lot less products on my hair these days, so we'll see how that one goes. But the next hair product I've really been enjoying is this Love and Salt Amongst the Waves Beach Hair and Body Mist, which sounds very exciting. It's in the most beautiful little glass bottle. I love it when things come in glass bottles. It just seems so much more luxury and nice to have. But this is basically a salt spray for your hair, but it's also a moisturising body mist, so you can kind of use it all over, and it's really lovely. It smells like coconuts, it smells like holidays and beaches, and I found this to be a really nice alternative to normal salt sprays, which I think definitely dehydrate my hair really badly. I mean, I have quite naturally dry and brittle hair anyway, but I think for anyone, salt sprays generally tend to just suck all the moisture out, whereas this actually has coconut oil in it. Not enough to make your hair look greasy and oily, but again it just adds so much moisture, but as well you get that nice beachy texture too. So this I've been using a lot, and it's mainly these two, shampoo, conditioner, and then this is pretty much everything I've been using on my hair, and then a few other styling products once I've dried it. I have been trying this as a body mist too, when I actually remember to spray it on, and it's really nice. It has a very subtle hint of fragrance to it, which again is very coconutty and holiday-like. But you may think that a salt spray would dehydrate your skin, whereas the salts in this are actually Epsom and the Himalayan pink salts, which are known to be very good for your skin and very nourishing. I have a lot of bath products with those types of salt in them too, so it's another great way to use it. But I think I'll be sticking to using it on my hair because I have quite a small one here and I definitely want it to last. So the last hair care product I have here to show you is a favourite that's kind of crept up on me. I didn't realise how much I liked this until I actually couldn't find it one morning, and I was scrambling around everywhere looking for it, and nothing else that I had seemed to do the job that this did, and it's the Dove Hair Therapy Refresh+Care Dry Shampoo. Just a very standard, cheap and cheerful dry shampoo. I don't think it's any more than maybe £4 or £5, not too sure, but it's definitely quite a budget option. There's just something about this that seems to absorb everything in your hair, so any excess oil and grease if you haven't had the time to wash it, and yet it doesn't feel like you've got anything in there. I do love a good old Batiste dry shampoo, but you can definitely feel like there's a lot of grittiness and a lot of product in your hair. It almost feels quite caked up with it, whereas this is so lightweight and fresh feeling, and the scent as well is really lovely. I think this smells like strawberries. I'm not sure if it has an official scent, but it's a really nice fresh one, not so much that overpowers any fragrance that you're wearing, or you know, it's just too much, but it's a really nice light scent. So this I've just absolutely love it. I think I've run out of it now. I need to go buy a new one. So I've been using a few products that are quite hydrating and moisturising, and the first favourite is a cleanser. Now this I think has been in many a favourites video. I've had this for a really long time and I always mention it, but I kind of go through phases of using it and then swapping it out for a different cleanser. I never stick to one cleanser, I always have to try out quite a few different ones. But this I have been using a lot this month, and it's the Radical Skincare Hydrating Cleanser, and it's a really nice, very thin, quite liquidy lotion texture. I use this a lot in the mornings to really wake my skin up and give it a nice boost of hydration, and you can really feel it as you're massaging in. It works best on dry skin and then you take it off with a muslin cloth. It's that type of cleanser, but when you're massaging in, it just feels like all this moisture is being absorbed and it's really rehydrating your skin. So I've been really enjoying using that, and it's also really great for taking off makeup. I don't use it too much in the evenings because I prefer my Neal's Yard Wild Rose Beauty Balm to use, but this does really break down makeup quite well, which is surprising because it is such a thin liquidy texture, so definitely one of my favourite cleansers. And then moisturiser again is something that I'm quite frivolous with. I tend to just use a different one every single day, but this one I've really been sticking to, and it's the Elemis Hydra-Boost Day Cream. And I also have the balancing version of this, which is more of an oil-free version, and I use that a lot in the summer, whereas this now I feel like is better for my skin at the moment because it is a lot more moisturising. It's just a very simple, very basic moisturiser. It doesn't have any anti-aging properties, anything like that. It's not particularly brightening, but it is really nice for hydrating skin, and especially drier patches and, you know, the little odd flaky bits that you can get when your skin is quite dry. And the thing I find I like about this the most is that it works really well under makeup. Usually when you find a moisturiser that is really hydrating, it tends to be quite slippery and your makeup just doesn't sit right on top of it, but this one has no disruptions at all. It really works nicely underneath makeup. The last skincare product I have is a little bit more of a treat, so more of a pamper night thing, definitely something a bit more luxurious, and it's the White Tea Enriching Facial Mask from Neal's Yard. And can you tell I'm having a bit of a thing for Neal's Yard at the moment? I just really love their products right now. But this is a really nice hydrating mask to use, you know, once a week, twice a week. This is actually quite different to any hydrating mask I've used in the past, and I think it's because it's mainly made up of essential oils, and that's how it really hydrates the skin. It's got quite a thick texture to it, and once it's on, it almost dries into the skin, not in the way that a clay mask would dry down, but I think it just gets absorbed so deeply that it pretty much feels like you've got nothing on once you've had this on your skin for 10 minutes or so. The thing I love most about this though is definitely the smell. It's just such a relaxing, very organic, herbal smelling scent, and I love it when my skincare products smell like that, and it's just a very nice one to use. So on to makeup favourites, and the exciting product that I have to show you here is a new launch from Benefit, and I actually was sent this a few weeks ago, and pretty much ever since then I have been wearing it non-stop. I absolutely love it, and it's the Benefit Majorette blush, and first of all the packaging of this is just adorable. It's supposed to be a little drum, I think, but it kind of looks like a macaroon to me, and the way it opens is just so lovely. This is basically a cream blusher, and you may be thinking we're in autumn now, cream blusher has kind of had its time in the summer, but I don't honestly think I wore one cream blusher this summer, which is crazy, whereas this now has been all I've wanted to put on my skin, and I think it's down to the texture of it. It has a very powdery feel to it, so it's definitely one of those cream to powders, and yet it doesn't feel powdery on the skin. It still gives you a bit of a glow and a bit of a dewiness without looking overly shiny or kind of sticky. I think the colour of this though is just the best thing about it. It's such a pretty peach, and it really is quite a true peach. It's definitely a very orangey tone shade, whereas I tend to go for the more coralies and pinks, but it does make a really nice change once to wear something a little bit different, and it really works quite nicely. It's very subtle looking, so it gives you that lovely flush and a bit of colour into your skin, but without looking like you're wearing, you know, two blobs of pink colour on there. There's definitely something about peach at the moment because I also have a very similar coloured lip favourite here, and this is one of the new Maybelline Baby Lips Electros, and I think these have been out in the States for a really long time and I've been wanting to get my hands on them for ages. I wasn't that blown away by the original Baby Lips. I thought they were quite simple and there wasn't much to them. They were just very standard sheer tinted lip balms, whereas these neon Electro ones are slightly brighter. They have a lot more pigment to them and the colours are really amazing. I have this one here which is called Oh Orange, and it is a really bright neon orange. On the lips though, it definitely translates as more of a peach, and my favourite thing to actually do with this is use it on top of other lipsticks, and all my lipsticks, similar to all my blushes, are very much pinky corally tones, whereas if you put a little bit of this on top, it kind of transforms them into a more peachy colour. So I actually have a NARS lipstick on at the moment and then this on top, and it just looks a bit more peachy. It kind of ties in as well with the Benefit blusher, so this is a step that I've really been enjoying using. So I have not one but two brow product favourites here to show you, which may seem a little bit excessive, but I did mention back in my last Get Ready With Me video, my going out look, that I was really struggling with my brows. Nothing seemed to look right and I just couldn't get a good shape or a good bit of definition. So So these two I found have been the perfect combination for that, and the first one's the Bobbi Brown Brow Kit, which is quite new to me, but I've just fallen in love with it. It's a really nice, very, very cool toned, almost quite taupey shade for your brows, and I find that when you use those grayer, ashier colours, it tends to look a lot more natural. One thing I recently discovered about this that I didn't know, and I thought I'd broken it when I'd done this, is that the top opens. My brows have quite a few sparse patches and they're not particularly dark either, so I like to kind of map out the shape with this and really fill them in. And then after that I'll use the Soap and Glory Archery pencil for more of a definition, so I kind of take it around the arch and elongate the brow slightly, because I have very, very short brows for some reason. And I was slightly devastated when I thought they discontinued the original Archery pencil, which I'm still not sure about. In some boots they have it, in some they don't, so I'm not sure if it's replacing it or if there's just two of them now. But this I've actually really enjoyed using. It's basically a little very, very thin nibbed brow pencil, and I think a lot of people will find this similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I love as well that it has the wand, little spoolie on the end. I think every brow product made should have to have one of these, because it just makes it so much easier to brush them through without having to go for a separate tool. Again, the nice thing about this is it's such a cool toned colour. I have the slightly darker shade, which is called Hot Chocolate, and I think they have a lighter one too. And I was kind of thinking about getting both of them and maybe doing something a bit, you know, tonal with it, but we'll save that for another day. But I really like this. I think it gives a really nice amount of definition. On its own, it's more of a natural looking brow, just because you can't really fill the brows in. It's more about creating those little fine hairs with it, but I think that's nice for a no makeup day or a very simple looking makeup. So those two are my favourite brow products at the moment. I'm quite particular when it comes to perfumes and scents, and I think I only have about 2 or 3 in rotation that I like to use. So for something to come along and for me to just want to wear it non-stop every single day definitely is worth including in my favourites. And this is the Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt Cologne, and ever since I heard this announced I was intrigued by it. I'd heard so many people talk about how amazing this was, so I had to smell it for myself, and it's a lot different to what I thought it would be. It's very subtle actually, it's not as strong and as deep and musky as I thought it would be. Now, I'm definitely not the world's best fragrance describer, so I've looked up the notes, and they are top notes of amberette seeds, middle note of sea salt, and then bottom note of sage. And there's also seaweed, grapefruit and plum in there as well, which I think is such an intriguing combination. And it definitely smells like the seaside. If you've ever been on the coast on a really nice windy day, that's just what it smells like. It really reminds me of home, because I do live pretty much by the seaside or near the coast. It has a really kind of familiar scent, and I just love it. It's such a nice one to wear. It makes me feel really homely and quite cozy, and it's a really nice transitional fragrance. I think if you're looking for something that's not as deep and dark and musky as the kind of autumn winter fragrances that people would usually wear, but still that's a little bit summery and a bit light and fresh, this is definitely a great one. I think now, as we are officially in autumn, it's only right to be including an autumn nail polish in my favourites, and this stuff has not left my nails in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I am not the sort of person that does back-to-back manicures. I don't tend to paint my nails with the same thing more than once, whereas this, I think I'm now on my 4th manicure with this, which is just crazy. That's something that never happens, and it's Essie's Soulmate, and I have put a post up of this recently if you want to see the colour in detail, but it's just the most beautiful burgundy shade. I think if I had to pick, if I absolutely had to pick just one nail polish to wear for the rest of my life, it would probably be this one. And I always forget how much I like it until we come into autumn and I think, oh, I'll put a burgundy shade on, but actually it's just, I could wear this all round. That's how much I love it. It's very similar as well to Chanel's Rouge Noir, which is probably, you know, the most hyped up nail polish ever. I'd actually say it's almost identical once it's on the nails. It's definitely got that deep wine undertone to it, so if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to that one, definitely go for Soulmate. So those are my September favourites. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Let me know as well what your favourite product was this month too. I always enjoy reading about your favourite products and what you like, and I will see you all soon.